Hello and welcome to Pet Heroes, a brand new show looking at how animals help us humans in our everyday lives. Over the next 6 weeks, you'll be joined by me, Evie Adams, as we look at dogs, a man's best friend. Coming up on today's show, we meet Ace, the 2-year-old Labrador assistance dog, to see how he helps his visually impaired owner, David, around his workplace. We meet Buddy, a 1-year-old retriever whose owner, Joanne, bought him as an assistance dog for her autistic son, Bobby, but they were in for a nasty surprise when he arrived and he had not had any training. We will look at the tips for the process of getting an assistance or therapy dog and take a visit to the Guide Dog Training School in Atherton, where dog trainer Jennifer Ashworth will be taking us through the training process, with the help from Tinkers, a German Shepherd and Labrador Cross assistance dog in training. But firstly, there are 4,950 guide dog owners in the UK, and today we are going to be joined by just one of them. Let's welcome David and his pet hero Ace to the studio. Hi David,
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So I hear you work at the university. What exactly do you do there?
I'm a general advisor on the disability support team. So I work in student life, and we help disabled students or students with long-term medical conditions by creating a support plan for them and putting reasonable adjustments in place so that they can continue their studies.
And why did you choose to work on the disability team?
I didn't actually choose to, it kind of chose me really, because my eyesight was deteriorating. Prior to working on a disability team, I worked in the estates division, and my eyesight was deteriorating to the point where I was really struggling to do the job. And because I was on a couple of the different forums around the university, I knew somebody who was on the disability team, and they encouraged me to come and see what sort of job they do and see if I liked it. So I ended up going on a secondment and not going back. I ended up staying.
And you've adapted really well to being on the team.
Yeah, it's really good. I've
obviously.
been there 5 years now, coming up to 6 years nearly. So.
And what exactly is your condition, and how does that affect you in everyday life?
Okay, I have a number of things with my eyes, but the main one is called retinitis pigmentosa, which is a genetic condition of the retina, and that stops me from seeing, especially at night time. I'm really bad at night time, and also in bright sunny conditions I really struggle to see in bright sunny conditions because I get a lot of haziness with my vision. It affects my depth perception, and my distance vision is not very good either. So
It's quite difficult to get on with your life without an assistance dog, to be fair. Well, so before we start chatting any more, we're going to have a look at your story.
Okay. My application for a guide dog started when I went to an open day at Henshaw Society for the Blind. I was after information really because I knew my eyesight was getting worse, and I wanted to know what sort of support was available further down the line. So guide dogs were there, so I had a chat with one of their representatives, and they said you don't have to have completely no sight in order to have a guide dog, which I was quite surprised to find. And he told me there's only about 5% of people that are totally blind that have got guide dogs. So that kind of sparked an interest really from then. The beauty of the Guide Dogs organisation is entirely funded by voluntary contributions. Around about November time, I had a phone call to say that they possibly had a dog for me, and they wanted to arrange a meeting, which is how I came to have this little fella. So I got Ace, who's a black Labrador Retriever cross. He wasn't quite 2 years old when I first met him. So going out socially, most places that you go to these days, like pubs and restaurants, are usually quite dimly lit or quite dark. So I always used to struggle to see what was actually on my plate sometimes, or to see even who I'm talking to, because everybody appears to me like a silhouette at night times. that kind of presents problems in a unique way, in that it impacts on you emotionally, and that you feel like you can't join in fully, even when you're in a group of people. I've been in situations where I've been in a room full of people and felt very, very much alone because I feel isolated. I feel like I've been given a new best friend, basically. He helps me, he does me the biggest favour I could possibly ever imagine, and I think feeding him and taking him out early in the morning is a small price to pay for that. So if I was asked to do it in one word, I would really say that Ace is Ace, really. He's very, very well named. He's very good at everything that he does. He's got a really good character, and he's just Ace.
Oh, bless. It's clear to see from that clip you two have a really strong friendship. What sort of duties does Ace have?
His main duty is to get me to and from work safely, which involves commuting on a train and going up and down steps and navigating round obstacles such as wheelie bins and other things like that, road signs and that kind of thing. Helping me to get across roads, especially on bright sunny days. I really struggle with the distance between myself and cars coming towards me.
Does he stop at the curb?
Yeah, he can even find a button for you on a Pelican Crossing if you ask him. He's very good at that. And the Guide Dogs organisation teach them these as part of the training. And
obviously you've got a lot of trust in him.
Yeah.
What other things do you trust him with?
Basically to make sure that I'm going in the right direction. Once he's learned the route, he's very good at remembering the route, and I can just give him the minimum of direction. Especially now he knows the work route, he can. I will just say we're going to work, and we go, and I don't. Very rarely have to give him a lot of commands. So just little reminders every now and again. So he is excellent at what he does.
Oh, that's really good to hear. And obviously you get the training to work, don't you? How do you find getting on and off the train, and obviously with other commuters and stuff?
I usually find that most people are more than willing to move and give you a bit of space, because obviously you've got a little bit more room, and the harness sometimes makes it a little bit awkward, although I can unclip the handle on the harness, and it makes it a little bit easier if it's really crowded. And sometimes even the conductors will let you get on at the little bit at the back of the train where there's no passengers. So if it's too crowded to get on, I've had a couple of times where the conductors let us get on at the back, and it's been okay. So.
I see. And obviously a lot of people see working dogs. Do you have a problem with people touching him, or have an issue because obviously he's working in that situation?
Yeah.
I mean, children, it's quite difficult to explain.
Yeah.
But what about adults? Is it quite a common problem for you?
Actually, it's the other way around.
Is it?
Yeah. I found that certainly children are interested and very curious, and they'll come up and then they'll stop short of actually touching the dog. Whereas some adults will just come up and go, oh, hello, and scratch him behind his ear like that, which is, and you have to just kind of gently remind people that he is actually working. Generally, people do ask, and then as soon as they ask, and I'm quite happy for them to, just touch him and just give him a little
So the
stroke.
advice there is to ask before touching.
Always ask, yeah.
Especially on working dogs.
Especially when they've got the harness on, yeah. And then it's up to the owner then to decide whether or not he wants his dog to be petted.
And obviously before your condition deteriorated, our researchers found out that you were quite a bit of an adrenaline junkie. You used to ride a motorbike,
yeah.
And did a zip wire across Manchester, is that true?
No, yeah. I like to do things outdoors and cycle. The motorcycling was a big passion for me, and my eyesight deteriorated to the point where I couldn't drive safely anymore, so I had to stop doing that, which was quite a big
life-changing experience.
From having that freedom to go anywhere
you're very
I wanted.
Restricted then, obviously, but
Exactly.
he still gets you out and about.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you do now instead?
My main hobby at the moment is archery. I do archery. I'm a member of 2 clubs. There's one at the university, and there's also a local one that I'm a member of. I also enjoy cooking, writing, drawing, so I still do quite a few different things. So.
Well, that's good to hear. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It's been really great to hear how Ace has made such a big impact on your life. You really are a match made in heaven. But before you go, we're going to go to the Buckley family in Liverpool, where we met Joanne, who last year paid £4,000 for a therapy dog for her autistic and non-verbal 7-year-old son, Bobby. In the UK, 1 in 100 children are diagnosed with autism. Buddy, the therapy dog they had paid for, was meant to help Bobby by reducing his stress levels and providing a safe, reassuring and predictable focus for him in situations where he becomes upset. What they weren't expecting was the series of unfortunate events on Buddy's arrival when it was made clear that he had no training and had been abused. Let's take a look at their journey and what has happened since.
Bobby was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2.5. He's now been diagnosed with sensory processing disorder as well as severe learning difficulties. We got the dog because of safety issues with Bobby escaping and bolting and things like that, and that's what the dog was here for, because he was meant to be attached to the dog. The dog's meant to tell us when he was going and things, when he was like running off and in any kind of danger. When we got Buddy, he was 12 weeks old, and when he come to us from Ireland, he was very daisy, very anxious, very thin. You could feel his bones. We thought at that point there was something not right with him, but you know, we just had all these high hopes for Bobby, and we were thinking the dog's just fretting. He wouldn't eat, he wouldn't drink, he wouldn't not even come out of his bed. So I had to spoon feed him with this special food that I got off the vet, and eventually on day 5, day 6, he started taking food. It was chicken he started eating on. So it just went from there, and then I went and took him on like obedience lessons, which that's what they told me to do. And then he was due to go back when he was 12 months old for the initial training.
That was when Joanne discovered that the company had charged vulnerable families for dogs that had not received any training. Joanne took it upon herself to find a trainer after she realised Buddy had some problems.
But what happened was the dog got assessed, Buddy got assessed, and he's a very clever dog, but he's got a few anxiety issues, and they think that he's been abused as a puppy before he's come to me, because a lot of these dogs are being abused because they've come from a puppy mill. So basically I'm trying to get him trained up now as like essentially as an autism life dog. So it's like for autism therapy, so it would be like a different thing for Bobby. It would turn out better for Bobby.
Autism Life Dogs are a non-profit organisation providing therapy companion dogs for children and families with autism.
The next step is basically we've just got to try and sort Buddy's anxiety levels out, because he's really scared around men. So we've got to take him up to Autism Life Dogs, and they're going to train him as like a therapy dog. So what they'll do, it's like all game playing with Bobby and the dog, and Bobby and Buddy. So it's like pattern and things, and because Bobby's got sensory processing disorder, these like pattern things and catching and coming back and forth, I think that will help Bobby. And it has been known for children with autism having a therapy dog eventually start speaking, because Bobby's non-verbal at the moment. Until Buddy knows that there's something wrong with Bobby, that Bobby has got autism, because he treats the other children completely different to what he treats Bobby. It's like Bobby can come and he does a lot of tapping. Bobby, like he'll tap on someone's leg, he'll tap on someone's head, he'll do that to the dog. Now if the others did that to the dog would like push the others out the way, or you know, they'd mess, but he treats the other children completely different. My advice for any parents, if they're going to do, I would go through the proper channels, like maybe the Autistic National Society. If you go through them, then you know it's got to be properly done. But the best thing that's come out of it, Bobby's gained a friend. Bobby hasn't got no friends. Bobby doesn't want any friends, and what Bobby's gained out of this is that he's got a friend in Buddy for life.
It is great to hear from Joanne about how much Buddy has made such an impact on Bobby's life, and although he's only just started his therapy training, it's definitely part of the family now. How much has Ace become part of your family?
Very much part of my family. Is my best friend, my companion and my partner, really.
Because you've only had him 6 months, you were saying?
Yeah, only since November. But the bonding process was really good. Before I actually went on the 2-week training course that they take you on, I had him for 2 weeks before that, so that we could get to know each other and bond, and it made the training process a lot easier and much more enjoyable.
Oh, that's good to hear that you and Ace got on really well. But obviously, watching that video, how do you react to that? Because obviously Joanne has been in such a tricky situation with Buddy, the new puppy that they've had.
I think it's awful that people out there are still willing to take advantage of other people's sad situations. and it kind of drives the message home that you should always go through a recognised organisation if you're even thinking about getting a guide dog or any kind of assistance dog. Always do your research and always ask the right people and ask the right questions. That's the tip I'd give.
Yeah. And obviously the organisation you went through, the Guide Dog Trust, are they quite? Are they marketed well? Do they have a lot of presence? How did you find out about getting an assistance dog?
Right, I found out, as I said on my VT, the way I found out was through an open day through another organisation. I was quite involved in Henshaw's Society for the Blind, and I went to one of their open days, and there was a number of different organisations there, and there was somebody from Guide Dogs there, and I basically just went over and had a chat with them. And my main question was, do you have to be completely blind to have a guide dog? And that's when I found out that you don't, you know, and that
That's
kind
good. And obviously, what advice would you give people that are looking for themselves, or perhaps someone they know or care for?
Basically to, you know, to do your research really, to access the information in any way you can. It's out there and it's available, whether it be through a charitable organisation or just by online and clicking on the organisation's website. If you're not sure or whether or not they're a valid organisation, then pick up the phone, speak to them, ask questions and find out how long they've been going, and you know what their success rate is. I think the success rate of Guide Dogs speaks for itself. They're a really good organisation.
Well, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today, David. It's been absolutely lovely having you and seeing Sleepy Ace all day. I have a little prize for Ace for being a pet hero, which is just a little rosette for you.
Thank you very much.
And for Ace being your pet hero.
He's been great today, yeah.
Now we're going to Atherton Guide Dog Training Centre, where David and Ace found their match made in heaven, to find out about how these amazing dogs are trained. The Guide Dog for the Blind Association started in 1931 with two remarkable women organising the training of the first 4 British guide dogs from a garage in Wolseley, Merseyside. The organisation has come a very long way since then, and now being known as the world's largest breeder and trainer for working dogs, which has helped over 29,000 people to achieve life-changing independence. So let's take a look.
Hello, my name is Jennifer. I'm a guide dog trainer here at Atherton, and this is Tinker. He's a guide dog in training. We breed our own dogs at our centre, and we breed a range of breeds. Tinker here is a German Shepherd cross Golden Retriever. We also do full German Shepherds, full Golden Retrievers, full Labradors. We do this because they have many traits that are desirable for us. They're very loyal, very friendly around children and other animals. That's very important. They're eager to please, and they're very attentive. When they are first born, they go to volunteers, which are puppy walkers around the country. They will stay with them when they are 7 weeks old to about 12 months old, and then they come into the centre. When they first come in, we spend the first couple of weeks bonding with them, playing games, and just generally getting to know our dogs and the different temperaments of what they have. Once they've been in for about 4 weeks, we move on to the street, where we start teaching the guiding tasks. This can include curb work, where they have to learn to stop at their curbs, straight line position, where they cross the roads and follow the straight line until to be told otherwise. And a central pavement position, where they stay in the centre of the pavement throughout the walk. We also teach obstacle avoidance. There's various things that can be on the floor in a pavement area, such as kids' bikes, lampposts, bins, things like that a guide dog owner doesn't want to bump into. The guide dog will guide them around the obstacle safely and pick up that straight line position after they've avoided the obstacle. That's quite a difficult part of training. We spent a lot of time working on that particular task. In total, it takes about 7 months to train our guide dogs, from when they first enter training to when they qualify with their guide dog owner. We spend the first 16 weeks teaching them what we consider early training, teaching them the tasks, testing them, testing them in a social environment, on various types of transport, and just getting ready for the sort of life that they will be expecting. When they're about 16 weeks, they move on to advanced training, which is where they start working with an instructor. Now this instructor will have a look at the pace that the dog walks, the size of the dog, sort of environments that it flourishes in, and the sort of environment it would like to live in a home environment. When the instructor has got to know their dog, they will have a look on our waiting list and see what sort of matches we have, what potential matches are available. Once they've looked into the matches further, they will start to match up the dog with a particular client. When the instructor is happy with this match, they will go out and visit this client, have what we call a matching visit, discuss the dog, discuss their needs, and hopefully that will be a positive match at the end of that time period, and they will start training together as a unit. In total, it takes £50,000 to train each guide dog, and that's through all of their food, all their veterinary care, the training, training of the volunteers, training of ourselves, all the housing that is required, and obviously to keep this building up and running. When a guide dog owner has been matched with a dog, they actually have to pay us 50p to take our dogs on. They don't have to give us anything else. Every day is different working here. Every dog is individual. They've got individual needs and issues that you have to work on. So yeah, I really look forward to coming to work every day. You never know what it's going to throw at you. You get a lot of job satisfaction doing this job, knowing that they're going to go out to helping people. What's also brilliant is that you get to meet the people as well, before and after, and really understand how it's changed their lives. And they're very open about telling you how amazing it is to get their dog, and it's brilliant to know that you've trained that dog and you've actually physically helped them get out. And yeah, it's excellent.
It's great to see all the hard work that goes into training assistance dog. I'm sure Tinkers will make someone a wonderful companion soon. And now it's time for fun facts. Did you know dogs are being used in court to help ease the stress for trauma victims? These dogs are referred to comfort dogs. They are specially trained canines that work in dependency courts. These focus specifically on child-related cases to calm young children and parents who are distressed. At home, hearing dogs are trained to alert their owners to household noises that are necessary for day-to-day independence and safety. They make physical contact with their human and lead him or her to the source of the sound. Hearing dogs provide their deaf owners with a degree of freedom and independence they wouldn't otherwise have. Mobility assistance dogs perform a variety of different tasks for their human owners. For example, pressing the button to open automatic doors, picking up dropped items and bringing them objects that are normally out of reach. Dogs are placed with owners who use wheelchairs and can be taught to pull the chair up the ramp if necessary. And finally, seizure dogs alert their owners of impending seizures moments or even hours before the person feels any symptoms. For example, a dog may be trained to bark and alert their owner, who then has time to sit and lie down before a seizure can occur. To find out more, head over to our website www.edge-tv.co.uk. Now it's time to see your pet heroes. We've been asking you at home to send in your photos of your dogs to our Facebook and Instagram pages to let us know why they deserve to be a pet hero. The winners will have the chance to feature on our show and we'll get one of our lovely rosettes through the post. Let's take a look at our pet hero's very first pet hero. This pet hero has been sent in by Matt, who says, no matter what time of day it is or how long you've been away, Taylor is always happy to see you. Matt cherishes him every day and that's why he is a pet hero. This little cutie was sent in by Steve, who said Bailey is his pet hero as he was very brave at the vets yesterday after having an operation. And this one has been sent in by Connor. And this is his dog Jenny, who says has helped his family through a very rough time. Connor says Jenny has been a great addition and we can't thank her enough for what she's done to the family. This is another pet hero sent in by Lauren. Oscar is her pet hero as he saved a baby duck from drowning. Aww. Thank you everyone for sending in those photos. If you think your dog has what it takes to be a pet hero, send us your photos into Facebook at Pet Heroes or Instagram Pet Heroes Edge TV for your chance to have your pet featured on our show next week. That brings us to the end of this week's show. A huge thank you to all of our pet heroes and their owners and trainers that we have met today. Joanne, Bobby and their dog Buddy, Jennifer, Tinkers and the Guide Dog Training Centre in Atherton, and a special thank you to David and his pet hero Ace. Be sure to tune in next week to hear more stories about our fabulous dogs who we think are pet heroes. Thanks for watching. I've been Evie Adams and you've been watching Pet Heroes and Man's Best Friend.